Forget hours of research and all the complicated advice out there. We've done that for you. We've weeded through it all. Welcome back, everyone, to English Podcast Adventures. I'm Michael.
And I'm Sophia.
This is your shortcut to getting conversational fast.
That's right. If you want to go from just thinking about speaking a language to actually doing it, this is it. We're highlighting those tools, those practical, easy-to-find tools that you can literally use to start speaking today.
And we found some pretty interesting ones, I got to say.
Yeah.
We're talking about how AI chatbots and voice assistants, they've really evolved into pretty incredible language practice partners. Plus, we've looked into online communities, so you can actually connect with other learners and even native speakers to practice, in real-world conversations.
Yeah, and we're going to start with that first part, using AI to get comfortable speaking. If you're thinking about speaking a new language and you're maybe a little intimidated by the idea of, just diving into a conversation, AI offers a fantastic way to build up your confidence without that pressure.
Absolutely. And we're not talking about those old robotic language programs here. These are AI systems that can actually hold a conversation that feels real, like a back and forth. Take character AI, for example. This is where things get really interesting for your practice. Imagine having a voice conversation with an AI that's playing the role of, say, a famous historical figure or even a character from your favorite book. You could even create your own AI persona. You can get specific traits and everything.
Cool.
How cool would it be to practice, like, ordering food in English with a virtual chef or talking about a news article with an AI that sounds just like a news anchor?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a game,
Yeah, definitely.
And that can make you a lot less anxious about making mistakes.
Yeah.
It's more about having fun than, being tested or something.
And that's exactly what makes it so effective.
Right.
By, talking to a persona that you find familiar, interesting, you shift the focus away from perfect grammar and just focus on communicating, having that conversation.
Yeah.
And because you can customize that persona, you can make it work for your specific needs, your interests, which just makes the whole practice more relevant and enjoyable.
So then there's Gemini, which is Google's AI assistant.
Oh, yeah.
You probably already use it for searches and things, but it can do a lot with voice, too. So you can have Gemini questions in English about anything you're curious about. You get summaries of articles read aloud to you. You can even have it help you write a message, all through voice. And because it's built into so many of Google's services that you're already using, it's a really easy, productive way to practice English in your daily life.
Totally. It's about incorporating English into your routine, into things you're already doing.
Yeah.
Asking for information, setting reminders, translating things. It's those little interactions, all done in English with AI, that build up your confidence and familiarity over time.
Okay, so now let's say you're feeling a little self-conscious about your pronunciation, or even just getting the words out in general.
Oh, yeah, I definitely remember that stage.
There's an AI called Pi from Pi.ai.
Oh, okay.
And it's designed to be more than just a language tool. It's meant to be like a friendly companion that you can talk to. The information we found suggests it's built with a focus on, like, emotional intelligence.
Oh, wow.
Which, could be really helpful for learners who need that extra encouragement.
Yeah.
It's sort of like having a super patient AI friend who's always there to chat with you to help you get comfortable with the sound of your own English voice.
Yeah, feeling comfortable is absolutely crucial, especially when you're starting out.
Right.
That fear of messing up, it holds so many people back. So an AI like Pi, with that friendly interaction as a focus, it really creates this safe space to just experiment and build confidence.
Yeah, without that worry of being judged in real time, right?
Exactly. It's all about encouraging that initial willingness to just speak up.
And then there's Monica, another AI assistant, specifically built for natural-sounding conversations. They've really focused on making the interaction feel smooth and responsive, whether you want a companion to just chat with and practice your fluency, or you need help with some tasks. But spoken in English, Monica is designed to make it feel as natural as possible.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? You've got everything from role-playing to practical assistance to emotional support.
Yeah, it's incredible.
What really stands out to you about all these different AI options?
I think that variety is so key. You can pick the AI that best fits your comfort level, your learning style, even your personality.
Right, exactly.
And then you've got Perplexity AI. This one is mainly a search engine, but it also lets you use voice. You can ask questions in English, and it gives you spoken answers with detailed information and sources to back it up. So not only are you practicing listening, but you're also learning new vocabulary and seeing how English is used in all sorts of contexts.
And that's a huge benefit, having those sources right there.
Oh, definitely.
It lets you dive deeper, see how the language is used, really understand what you're learning.
Absolutely. And of course, we have to talk about ChatGPT.
Of course.
With its voice chat features, it offers this really natural-sounding interaction. So whether you want to practice specific dialogues, brainstorm ideas in English, or just have a fun, casual chat, ChatGPT has become another incredible tool you can use.
It's so adaptable. You can guide the conversation, tell it to play different roles, even get feedback on your grammar and vocab. And because it sounds so natural, it feels less like a chore and more like an actual conversation, which I think is really motivating.
And then there's the AI that's getting built into all sorts of tech we already use.
Oh, right.
Like Microsoft's Copilot. You can do all sorts of things in Windows and Office using voice. You can actually use spoken English commands to control your computer.
Wow.
And it'll respond to you in English, too.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a really practical way to immerse yourself in the language while you're just doing your everyday stuff.
I love that. That seamless integration, it makes learning a language a part of your routine.
Exactly.
And by using English to interact with things you use all the time, it really reinforces what you're learning.
Okay, lastly, we have Sesame AI with Maya and Miles, which are these hyper-realistic, voice-based AI assistants. They're known for having incredibly natural-sounding conversations.
Yeah, I read about those.
They're designed to mimic human speech patterns.
Really?
So it's like talking to another person. It's some pretty cutting-edge tech that can create this immersive practice environment.
That's awesome. And that focus on sounding like a human, it's so helpful for understanding those nuances of pronunciation and intonation.
Yeah, it can really fine-tune your listening skills.
Definitely, especially as you get more advanced.
So we've seen all these AI-powered tools that can help you start speaking English right now, but even though AI is amazing for building that initial confidence, there's really no substitute for interacting with actual humans.
You're absolutely right. AI is that fantastic starting point, a safe place to practice. But talking to other learners and native speakers, that's where you get the real-world communication, the different accents, the cultural exchange. It's all crucial for fluency.
And one of the platforms we found in our research is Telegram. There are tons of groups specifically for English language learning and practice.
Oh, wow.
There's the English chatting group, for example, with over 9,000 members. It's a diverse community with people from all over the world, and they use both text and voice to practice their English.
That's great.
Yeah, so you get to interact with people at all different levels from all sorts of backgrounds, and you get exposed to a variety of accents and communication styles.
That diversity is such a valuable thing. Different speaking speeds, different vocabulary, different cultural references. It all adds up to a much richer learning experience.
Then you have the English Chatting International Group, which is huge, over 53,000 members.
Wow.
It's this big global group where people chat and share ideas in a supportive environment.
That's cool.
And even though most of the people there are learners, because it's so big, there's almost always someone online to connect with no matter what time zone you're in.
A large group like that also means more chances to have spontaneous conversations. And you're more likely to find people who share your interests or are at a similar learning level.
Then there's the ELSA community, which is great if you're really focused on pronunciation.
Oh, okay.
It has over 33,000 members, and a lot of them are users of the ELSA Speak app.
Oh,
They share their progress, ask for feedback on their accents.
that's smart.
So if you want to work on your pronunciation, this is a great place to go.
Yeah, that focused approach is really helpful, and getting feedback from others who are doing the same thing can be really motivating.
Now, there's this group called Unvaccinated with over 22,000 members, and it's relevant for our discussion because it actually have a lot of native English speakers who are actively discussing all sorts of topics.
Okay.
Now, we want to be very clear that we're just reporting what we found in our research, and we are definitely not endorsing the theme of this group at all.
Right.
But for more advanced learners, this kind of group with real-world discussions can be a good way to practice fluency and really get a grasp on unscripted English.
Yeah, it's about understanding nuanced language, expanding your vocabulary with current events, and just improving overall fluency.
Exactly. Moving on, there's International English Chat with 20,000 members. It's a very welcoming group for both text and voice practice, all about improving fluency.
Sounds nice.
And then there's International Friends Global Chat, which has around 24,000 members.
Okay.
Kind of a different approach. It combines English practice with the goal of making friends from all over the world.
I like that.
So if you're looking to connect with people from different cultures while improving your English, this could be a good option.
Yeah, combining language learning with social interaction, it makes it so much more enjoyable, and it gives you that real-world context for using the language.
And we also found another English chatting group, this one with 17,000 members. It's smaller, but still very active. Sometimes smaller groups can be better for more personal interactions.
True, you might feel more comfortable speaking up and have longer conversations.
Exactly. And then, lastly, for Telegram, there's English Speaking Practice, which has over 7,000 members.
Okay.
And it's all about practicing spoken English through voice messages and live discussions.
Very specific.
Yeah, if your main goal is to improve your speaking, this is a great place to check out.
When a group is specifically focused on speaking practice, it means everyone's there for the same reason. It creates this really supportive environment for developing those skills.
Now, aside from Telegram, there's also Discord, which has some great options for spoken English practice.
Cool.
There's the English Hub, which is massive, with over 274,000 members.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, and it has all these different voice chat rooms for practice, discussions on various topics, and even channels dedicated to pronunciation.
That's great.
With a community that big, you're bound to find people to practice with at all different levels.
Definitely. And with so many topics being discussed, you're likely to find something that interests you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's this socialized and active VC server. VC stands for voice chat. And it's basically a casual server with a really active community of native English speakers.
Okay.
It's not necessarily made for language learning, but it's a great way to immerse yourself in natural conversations just by hanging out and chatting about everyday stuff.
Yeah, that kind of immersion is so valuable.
Right.
You pick up on all those little things, the slang, the idioms, the cultural references, things you might not learn in a textbook.
So as you can see, there are so many incredible resources available right now, from AI companions that can have natural sounding conversations to all these online communities full of people who want to practice. The opportunities are just endless.
I think this deep dive has shown that there really are no excuses anymore.
Right.
Whether you prefer that patient, supportive interaction with an AI or the dynamic conversations you get in an online community, there's something out there for everyone.
Absolutely. We've looked at AI partners that can do everything from casual chats to helping you with tasks, and we've seen all these different groups on Telegram and Discord with people of all skill levels.
And the best part is, you have the power to choose.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You don't have to wait for the perfect classroom setting or feel like you need to be totally prepared before you start speaking.
Right.
The resources are right there waiting for you.
So here's something to think about. With all these different ways to practice, what kind of conversation will you have first?
Ooh, good question.
Will you chat with a virtual historical figure?
Yeah.
Will you join a global discussion on a topic that interests you?
Yeah.
Will you just say hello in a voice chat room full of other learners? It's entirely up to you.
The choice and the voice is yours.